Hey guys, it's Dragonfly here, and today I'm going to be talking about a more serious subject. So, I want you guys to, if you're very faint of heart, I suggest you click out of this video, and if you can handle triggers, then you can stay if you want. So, I'm not gonna be editing this video. It's gonna be a very uncut video, because it has a lot of meaning to me, and it's something that you guys deserve to know, and know my feelings about it. So, September to early November of 2015, I had severe depression. And I was thinking of cutting, and I was thinking of just so many horrible things to do to myself, because I was a very self-destructive person. And that's kind of the reason why I wasn't posting videos during that period of time. And I know that there was a huge gap of time where I wasn't posting videos. And the depression was from school and just a lot of stress that was building up, and I didn't have anywhere to take it. So I had ideas of cutting and self-harm in multiple ways other than cutting, but I'm scar-free. This is from being burned by a tray of French fries. But yeah, I was thinking of cutting and self-harm. And not all people have the same reason for self-harm. A lot of people try to put it into one category, which I find just very disrespectful. People say it's because these girls want to, girls or guys, it's not just women, they want to feel the pain, they want to not just emotionally but physically feel the pain, or they're so mentally unstable that they can't help themselves, which is not true. My case was very different. I don't know, maybe some people use that as a reason why they or other people cutted. So I'm going to explain my depression in a lot of detail, so this is about the time you should be Xing out of the tab if you don't want to hear about this sort of stuff. So, I have dealt with depression 3 times now. And, the first time was when I was pretty young. I didn't know what it was. I didn't know that I had depression. I didn't want to self-harm during that time. I found self-harm stupid. I was very against self-harm, and I didn't see why people wanted to do it. I would in a way make jokes about it, but not entirely make jokes about it. And I didn't realize what I was doing. I was being very careless and not thinking of how other people felt about that. And, so I didn't have anything to help me through that. I didn't have anything, such as music or, I didn't have a place where I could be safe and by myself and seek help. And I didn't know that I had depression, so that was another problem with it. And, so how I dealt with my feelings was, through art. And I've been drawing since I was very little. And, so yeah. My depression was from being bullied really badly. I've been really badly bullied since I was, very young. And, so I had a crush on a guy. It was very stupid. It was a very stupid crush. And his friends hated me. And, of course, he chose his friends over me. And I got hurt because of that, and I ended up with depression because I was bullied daily. And, so that's a thing. So the second time was from feeling like I had to meet everyone's standards and that I couldn't be myself while meeting everyone else's standards. And I felt like I was losing friends. I was, letting people down. And everything was really hard for me. I was failing in most of my classes. And, my friends, I thought, just didn't care about me. And I promised myself I'm not going to cry in this video, because I've told the story multiple times without crying. So if I haven't cried then, I'm not going to cry now. And I had no idea what to do. It was in a spiral. I was in a spiraling circle of self-hate and self-loathing. And I turned to the idea of cutting. It was a stupid idea. I regret it. I never did it, but I regretted it. I regretted thinking of hurting myself to make myself feel better. Because my reasoning for why I wanted to cut was I should look just as ugly as my problems. I am still against self-harm. I will always be against self-harm. but I now have a better understanding of why people do it and why people want to and why people are that, like, turning to that idea. And so I didn't tell anyone about my problem. I didn't tell my sister, I didn't tell my parents, I didn't tell anyone close to me. The one person I could tell was myself, through my writing. No one really knew that I had depression, but as long as I kept writing, they had an outlet to how I felt, how I wanted to hurt myself, and so the only person I told was the people who read my stories, and they never knew that the characters in those stories were based off of my own personal self-hatred. And the only people, and that's not the only person I talked to about it. The second person I talked to about it this time was music. Music has always been a part of my life, ever since I was very young. I grew up with a bunch of different genres of music. I grew up with Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, Spice Girls. I grew up with 90s music. I grew up with Korn. That took a huge turn. Iron Maiden, Marilyn Manson, Panic at the Disco, and My Chemical Romance. And so the people that I could trust weren't even physical, or at least they were on the internet. I could trust writing and music. Those aren't physical people. And one day, after my YouTube having recommended this video to me for about a month, I watched Gravity Falls, a Gravity Falls AU that had Wolf in Sheep's Clothing in it. I would tell you the name of the AU, but I can't remember it. I believe it was Darkness Falls, but I'll link it down in the description. And that was my first plug to set it off. At first, I didn't even notice the music. Well, in a way I did. I found it catchy, but I was mainly there for the artwork and animation, because I grew up with artists around me. My uncle is a cartoonist. Two of my uncles are cartoonists. So I've always grown up with art. So I took my time to appreciate the person's art and how much time and dedication they put into it. And then I listened to it again, and this time only paying attention to the music. And I fell in love with Cody Carson's voice. The guitar was amazing. The drums were so good, and the vocals were gorgeous to me. And at that moment I knew that this group of people, this person, I didn't know what it was, who it was, but I knew that they weren't going to, that they could help in any way. So I listened to that song on repeat every day, and until like late November. And then I got introduced to Nightmare because autoplay was on, and it pissed me off. And I did not think that it was the same lead singer, and I thought that the singer had changed because Cody's voice was much more young, because it was from 2012. And I was like, what? But eventually I fell in love with this song as well. And I went until January 21st, I think, without seeing the band's faces. I was in love with their music. I fell in love with Cody Carson, not knowing what he looked like. I fell in love with Zach Duval, not knowing what he looked like. I fell in love with Dan Claremont and Max Danziger, not knowing what they looked like. And it's weird because I've always been a slightly shallow person, because, let's face it, there at least has to be some looks in the mix if you're gonna have a crush on someone. And I've always been a slightly shallow person. But I hadn't... Cody could be he could be like 30 pounds more than that and look disgusting, and I would still be in love with him and his voice. Same with everyone else in the band, because I honestly thought that they were like guys in their 30s, because that's what I was introduced to with rock, that everyone was in their 30s for some reason, or in their 40s for some reason. And so looks didn't really matter for me. I spent from October to January 21st not looking at their faces. And so I was in my living room and I decided, I guess I'll watch something that has their face in it. So I watched a live performance of Wolf in Sheep's Clothing. I couldn't really see their faces very well because it was so fuzzy. And so I decided, okay, let's find another video. And I found a video of the band, but it was from like 2008. So that's how I thought they looked. And then I looked them up and I saw what they look like now. And I fell in love with their personalities as well. I believe the first thing I ever saw that actually had Cody talking about something was the interview from 2008/9. And then I watched the Ernie Ball Strings infomercial, and I felt like I had been cured of all my depression, because my depression had been gone since November. I was a very happy person. And so I went on, so I looked them up, and one of their tweets had came out, and I was like, oh, that's cool. I looked at it, and I saw that they had announced that they were going on tour, and they were playing in my city. And I started crying. I was so happy. And they weren't playing until March 23rd. I went to the Fight for Something tour, which is where I first heard Tonight Alive, and now I'm obsessed with them as well. And so I waited those 2 to 3 months, and when the day came, I was so nervous, because I had spent all my money on buying VIP tickets, and so that just tells you how broke I am, because the tickets were $18, normal tickets, and the VIP tickets were $60. So it was a huge, huge situation for me. And so the day came, and I was so nervous. I was not ready to meet them. And there was so many things I wanted to talk to them about. And I got a new phone that day, and I heard Flyleaf for the first time in forever. Don't quote me on that. But I heard Flyleaf, and that was the first time I had heard it in like years. Because Sprint is a awesome place, and I got a new phone, so I have footage from the concert, and okay, I'm getting nervous just talking about it, because reliving that day was like one of the best days of my life. And the reason why I named this video When a Girl Meets Her Saviors, it's not because I pray to God or anything. No, God, no. It's because they steered me away from cutting. So they're my arm saviors. And so as soon as I got back from getting a new phone, because my old phone was really crappy, I had 1 hour. So I got in my Jack Skellington themed outfit that I had gotten for my birthday. And it was a very long dress. It was very cold, but it came with like a jacket that looked super cool. And I still have that outfit. But so that outfit was horrible for a concert. Never wear a long dress. But I went and I got onto Max and Zach's. That rhymed. So I had actually I saw Say We Can Fly walking past me, and the Ready Set walking past me. And I didn't know who the Ready Set was, but I actually liked one of their songs beforehand. So hearing them play that song live was awesome. And so I saw them set it off, and I swear I had a heart attack. And so we played a few games. I was on Max and Zach's team, and I gave them some artwork that I had made for them, and then came on to the meet and greet. So I'm gonna have to cut this video in half because I only have 3 more minutes left on my camera, but I definitely will explain more in the next half of the video. And yeah, I love you guys so much. Know that you are loved. I am a person you can talk to, and I love you. Bye!